Complete AV block requiring permanent pacemaker implantation is more likely after A. Coronary artery bypass grafting, B. Aortic valve replacement, C. Mitral valve replacement, D. None of the above. Correct answer B. Aortic valve replacement. Complete heart block can occur after aortic valve replacement as the conduction system is closely associated with the location of the aortic valve. Pre-existing extension of calcification from aortic valve to the conduction system can cause complete heart block. This can be accentuated by the pressure of the artificial valve on the conduction system. Injury to the conduction system can also be due to sutures of the valve ring impinging on it. The pressure due to the valve on the calcareous material around the conduction system is responsible for complete heart block, which occurs in sutureless aortic valve replacement. Injury to surrounding tissue causing edema and compression of the conduction system is a potential cause of reversible postoperative complete heart block. Negative predictive value of echocardiography in pulmonary embolism: A. 20 to 30%, B. 40 to 50%, C. 60 to 70%, D. 80 to 90%. Correct answer B. 40 to 50%. Negative predictive value of echocardiography in pulmonary embolism is only 40 to 50%. Hence, a negative result on echocardiography cannot rule out pulmonary embolism. Similarly, echocardiographic evidence of right ventricular systolic dysfunction can occur in cardiac and respiratory conditions other than pulmonary embolism. Right ventricular dilation on echocardiogram may be noted in about a quarter of patients with pulmonary embolism and is useful in risk stratification. Nevertheless, being a bedside investigation which is widely available, it is often next only to electrocardiogram and chest X-ray in sequence of investigations for pulmonary embolism. Which of the following is not useful in the treatment of hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy? A. Verapamil, B. Metoprolol, C. Isoprenalin, D. Disopyramide. Correct answer C. Isoprenalin. Isoprenalin is an inotropic agent which will increase the myocardial contractility and thereby the obstruction in hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. Ventilation perfusion scan is preferred over CT angiography for detection of pulmonary embolism in A. Pregnancy, B. Contrast allergy, C. Multiple myeloma, D. All of the above. Correct answer D. All of the above. Radiation dose for ventilation perfusion scan is 1.5 millisieverts, while that for computed tomographic pulmonary angiography is 2 to 6 millisieverts. Hence, VQ scan is preferred in young individuals, especially females. It can also be used in outpatients with low clinical probability of pulmonary embolism. As it avoids iodinated contrast, VQ scan is also the imaging of choice in those with severe renal failure and in persons with multiple myeloma and paraproteinemia. Administration of intravenous contrast agents can cause renal failure in those with paraproteinemia. Which of the following are phenocopies of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy? A. Fabry disease, B. Noonan syndrome, C. Friedreich ataxia, D. All of the above. Correct answer D. All of the above. Phenocopies of hypertrophic cardiomyopathies are diseases in which hypertrophy of the left ventricle occurs similar to that in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, but are genetically different entities. Cardiac specific glycogen storage disease also mimics hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. In some situations, identification of phenocopy may be important, as in Fabry, in which disease course may be altered by replacement therapy with agalsidase alpha or beta. Genetic testing is also useful in identifying phenocopies of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Recurrence rate of venous thromboembolism at 1 year: A. 6%, B. 13%, C. 20%, D. 25%. Correct answer B. 13%. Later recurrence of venous thromboembolism, usually after discontinuation of anticoagulation, is around 13% at 1 year, 23% at 5 years, and up to 30% at 10 years. Early recurrence while on anticoagulation is around 2% at 2 weeks, 6.4% at 3 months, and 8% at 6 months. Risk factors for early recurrence are presence of active cancer and failure to achieve therapeutic anticoagulation levels. Antihypertensives to be avoided in heart failure include all of the following except A. Verapamil, B. Moxonidine, C. Diltiazem, D. Enalapril. Correct answer D. Enalapril. Enalapril is one of the recommended drugs for hypertension in heart failure. All the other drugs have been shown to produce worsening of heart failure. Verapamil and diltiazem have negative inotropic effects and hence to be avoided in those with left ventricular systolic dysfunction. Moxonidine has been associated with increased mortality in patients with heart failure. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for future updates and click on the bell icon for all updates. Thank you.